Welcome to the WedCo podcast, your ultimate guide to the wedding world. Whether you're a bride, groom, or wedding vendor, this is the place to be. Join us as we dive into real stories, expert advice, and behind-the-scenes insights to help you plan the perfect day. So grab a seat and let's celebrate love, connection, and creativity together. Before we get into this episode, I'd love to ask you a super quick and easy favor. If you're enjoying the WedCo podcast, please hit that follow button on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. It might seem small, but it makes a huge difference in helping the podcast grow and means I can keep bringing on amazing vendors to share their insights with you. Thank you so much for your support. It truly means the world. Hello and welcome to the WedCo podcast. I'm Toga, and today on the couch I've got Emma with me from Emma Wiseman Photography. Thank you so much for coming on.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
I've known you for a fair while now, and I feel like you've always had a million different amazing ideas.
Yeah.
And over the last couple of years, what you've been building in the background has been super exciting to me. What we might start with is maybe a little bit of your backstory in the wedding industry, and then we can kind of go into the exciting new things that you're coming up with these days.
Yeah, I love it.
Awesome. So yeah, do you want to talk about, how long have you been in the wedding industry and kind of a bit of a spiel about yourself?
Okay. So I've been in the industry for probably around 15 years now, being a wedding photographer. So started off in Melbourne and then just obviously moved up to Byron Bay. So I had to start the business all over again. It's been amazing. So just being a wedding photographer for that long.
Yeah. How long ago did you move up to Byron?
About 8 years ago.
Okay. How was that, the rebuilding a brand kind of from scratch, going from Melbourne to Byron? How was that process for you?
It was a big change. And obviously I was still going back to Melbourne to shoot weddings, and then it just got to the point I had the kids, I had pregnant, and COVID happened. So it was kind of like a real rebranding of myself, what I wanted and how I wanted my work to do. It was like kind of starting from scratch. So it was a bit exciting in that way. It was fun.
Yeah. Did that transition take long? Like you said, you were going back to Melbourne a fair bit to still shoot at that time. Was there forethought where you were trying to book more weddings, say the Gold Coast and Byron, before you moved up?
No, it was like we literally came here on holidays and said, what the hell are we doing? And went back to Melbourne, and we sold everything in like 6 months and moved.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'd like 2 houses, everything. Trent had his business, and we just said, we need to live a relaxed life. I was shooting 30 weddings a year, and we didn't have Imogen or AI or anything, so it was really stressful and with kids, and it wasn't a healthy lifestyle. So we came up here and we just moved in, and that's just what we did. And I just made that conscious effort of saying I want to be able to live a life too and shoot something that's really passionate and not just be doing it through shooting like on autopilot.
Yeah.
It was like had to be creative, something I really resonated with. It was a nice change. And I also started getting into fashion as well, which has always been my dream.
Yep.
And because it was harder to do that in Melbourne, it was much easier to do that here.
Okay.
Because everyone's entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So I kind of was great because I could do both of them.
And do you feel like that really influenced your wedding photography once you actually started taking on the fashion jobs? Do you feel like that kind of bled into the wedding side of things as well?
And I definitely saw a shift in how I shot as well.
Yep.
So like even looking back, I'm like, oh my God, but it's, and it really helps. And I think brides liked that, they did like the idea that I could direct them and have it a little bit more kind of interesting and a little bit different as well. So that definitely helped.
I think like looking at your photos from, like you said, even 5 or 6 years ago, you kind of were already on the editorial trend before it became a thing. Like I definitely looked at back there and it's like, it wasn't the typical romantic pose. Like you still get those photos, but it was very kind of edgy on that fashion side as well. And it hadn't really come in yet.
Yeah.
So,
well, I did fashion design. So I was actually a fashion designer and worked with like the top designers in London.
Yeah, okay.
So I lived there for a while, and that was really amazing. And then I started working with these designers, and they needed someone to take their photos of their clothes. So I started taking photos of their clothes and then working with top fashion photographers.
Yep.
And that's how I got into photography.
Yeah, okay.
But then I did find Melbourne, it was just a lot harder to get into it. And I just loved weddings as well. So it was like, okay, I'll just do that. But then here it was like, I can do both.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really healthy as well, that you're not doing the same thing over and over and over again, that you're getting into that creative side.
Yeah, for sure.
So my favorite thing was to do like style shoots.
Yep.
which was again great for venues and stuff. Because like say I could like set up a whole style shoot, and that was like really feeding my creativity. I loved that.
And I can see that, like, you can see where your creativity flourishes is where you can produce this whole shoot, like there aren't that many photographers that are like that. They can rock up and get some really nice photos of things that are already set up, but that's like a whole different kind of level of creativity going into that side. It's like that is that full art direction and, fashion design there.
Yeah, I love it.
Which is cool. And you've always kind of been at, well, since I've known you, the forefront of, I'd say, technology. And then I think it was like maybe 3 years ago, you were already like AI, and you're on top of it. And you could tell how excited you were in this space. Yeah. Have you always been, throughout that 15 years, really trying to kind of implement technology as much as you could to help you with the business?
Yeah, look, I loved when Photoshop came out.
Yep.
If I can even remember how long I was ago. But like, yeah, even when I was doing wedding photography, I started doing all these things. I'll probably cringe in it now, but like, people, if they were a little bit into Star Wars, I'd make it into a Star Wars picture, where she be like this and he be like this. And I loved fantasy all the time. And like, yeah, I did like one couple, I can't remember why, but like it was all the bridal party were zombies. Coming up. I know it's cringy now, but I just loved it, and I just would spend hours and hours and hours on the computer just playing with it and stuff.
Yep.
So the first thing with the AI that came in was like the images.
Yes.
And I just found that fascinating. And I loved it because, and especially nowadays, it takes better photos than we can.
Yep, for sure.
If you tell it what to do. So many people were like, oh, it's going to ruin my job. I'm going to lose it. I'm going to whatever. It's like, well, it will if you're, I don't know if you can.
Yeah, you're right.
No, you will if it's like crap.
Yeah.
But it's like, so I'm like learning from it. And that's what I used to always do. I'd look at all the fashion magazines and all the fashion photographers and say, okay, so how did they shoot that?
Yes.
How does that look? How does that go like this? Where's the light coming from? Why is that better than mine? And that's the same what I do with AI. I look at it and I'm like, so why is that better than mine? Why can't I get something like that? Or how can I get something like that?
Yeah.
So, and that's something that I've been like working with. And I started like different Instagram pages where all my creative AI stuff, because I saw Jonas Peterson. I was like, all I have to do is this and I'll become like a millionaire, sell it for like $2,000. That didn't happen. But my images were awesome. They were all very fantasy and stuff. But yeah, I just loved that I could then create that, because it takes a lot of money and time for us as photographers to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't feel that. I felt it was a benefit, if anything, for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was having a chat with Dave from Wedflow. It's not actually out yet, but he was talking about, and I actually kind of agreed, where, if you're implementing this, it's only going to be a benefit to your business. But then before I was starting to record, you're also putting out the view of like the artist, and how the AI revolution could almost help the real artist in the wedding field. So like, do you have thoughts on that?
Yeah, it could definitely help if they want to see it.
Yep.
I do feel like I've had a lot of artists come up and say, oh, it's going to take over. There's no point in doing art anymore. It's taking over my jobs because it can create better arts and blah, 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 blah. But the way that I see it is more that the artists, if they keep going at what they're doing, they're going to be like gold dust. People are going to see that point and they're going to drop off. People are going to be like, this is from a real human.
Yeah, for sure.
They painted this. And you look at all the art where people have like one dot in the center and it sells for thousands. It's not because it's a dot in the center. It's actually about the story of the artist and the story that they've made up that's behind it. So I think in the future that it's going to be huge.
Yeah, for sure.
That a real human will do that, so.
And I think even like with the, like Super 8 trends and, film photography and everything like that, I think that's just showing that more and more people are leaning into that. And because they do want that human experience, until AI can produce a better Super 8 than what Super 8 can. But, like it's like people are already leaning towards that. I don't want like authentic sucks, but like that authentic feel. They want to lean into that as well.
They want humans, and they're going to crave it more and more and more. They're going to really want that. But I see like kind of AI is just helping at the moment.
Yep.
So it's just going to help them with all the stuff that they don't want to do, which is stuff that's in the office, that's like emailings, understanding things and stuff. But then they can actually spend more time doing their creative stuff that they want to do.
Yeah. We've been seeing it heaps in the coaching space at the moment as well, where people are kind of done with the workshops where it's just, a course. Everyone wants proximity to the people. And it's like people are coming back. I remember when I first started as well, I used to go to workshops every single year. The AIPP had one. I'd go to Hobart and do a 3-day workshop. And I feel like there hasn't really been anything like that in so long. But you can kind of feel it's coming back in as well, where people actually want to hang out with each other and grow and talk to humans, which is really nice. So where, people are trying to get that connection back again, which it feels like it's been a while.
Yeah, and it is the way. It's like AI can do that now. So, you can say, I want Tony Robbins, I love what he does. I want you to start coaching me like he does.
Yep.
So they can do that. But if there's something about it, it's like you don't really get it and it doesn't really fit in. And a part of the human body and stuff is that we need to connect. Some people visually need to see them and needs to have that realization where it really comes in. And that's why you see lots of wellness coaches and they travel around the world because they feel that it doesn't really work for people just to be told. Yeah. They need to experience it. And when you're there, you've got the energy of everybody else, you've got their energy, and it really does sink in, that way. Or even like if you see if it's a real person, you do get that connection.
For sure.
Whereas if it's just AI, I think people know that and they just don't have that proper feeling. But it can help on like basics.
Yeah, for sure.
But I feel like if you want to get real improvement and change, it doesn't fit it.
It's the same as like going to a comedy show. You go to a comedy show and it's hilarious. You watch it at home on Netflix and you're like, yeah, it was funny. It's a whole different thing. Just being there with other humans and the connective tissue of everyone. Yeah,
I know. I go to at home and I'm like watching a really stupid program and we're in stitches because everyone's laughing and I'm laughing, and I watch it with Australians and they're just not laughing, and I'm like, but it's funny, but it makes it not so funny for me anymore. Yeah. So you do get, it definitely is a difference.
Yeah. Hey, do you want to touch on AI within, say, your photography business first before we move on to your new venture? What are some different kind of systems and, AI uses that you're using in your business at the moment?
So I'm using a lot of things that's going to help with editing. So I use Imagen, which I find is really, really good. But I think I feel that I don't use AI as much anymore with my stuff because it kind of does its own thing now from word of mouth. What I worked on really before is SEO. So now because I did that, I'm always coming up at the top.
Beautiful.
And I've done the AEO, which is now, to help with coming up with the search engines, because that's what they're starting to look at now. So SEO and everything like that is pretty much going to be dead in Google in a few years because everyone's now going to ChatGPT. So I've been working on that, and I found the best way to do it, because you can watch lots of videos and stuff, but I just always have conversations with my friend, ChatGPT. No, but it's just kind of saying, okay, dude, why are you saying this other chick or this other photographer instead of me? And they'll just explain why. And I'm saying, okay, so how can I get to the top? Can you search my website and tell me what I'm doing wrong and what I could do right for me to get to number one? So I literally ask it everything. And then we'll say, okay, well, you need to fix this on your website. This isn't easy. This could blah, blah, blah. And then that helps.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's my basic thing. And it's great because I've done so much human work that AI doesn't have to help so much either, working with different vendors, venues, that kind of thing as well.
Yeah, okay. All right. Do you want to touch a little bit about on your new venture that you got coming up? Yeah, perfect.
Sure.
Yeah, give it a little bit of an introduction and I guess where it came from, why did this need to come to be?
Yeah. Well, I think the main thing was being in the industry for so long. And I just kept on seeing all these brides and grooms coming, and they were just super, super stressed. I was super stressed on mine. I ended up getting sick on the day. It was I know, it was ugh. And the people coming, and they've all got cold sores because they're overstressed. They haven't slept properly. And I just had this real thing. I've always wanted to help them, but I didn't know how. Because directories are really overwhelming for them. It feels like nothing's there to help them, just to make it more complicated.
Yeah, for sure.
So when AI came out, I'm like, ding, oh my God, this could actually help them. So I started working, and then I had more people come on and who got really excited, and we just started really brainstorming together and stuff. And we came up with a concept where it's like an AI wedding planner. And it's really to help the brides that can't afford a wedding planner.
Yep.
And I think that's something like 70%.
Yeah, for sure.
And to really help them have everything in one place. So I've organized a couple of weddings and worked with all these different couples and just seeing what was really lacking. And so everything is in one area, everyone is in one place. And yeah, we just found that they could talk to ChatGPT, but it would be Wedlii.
Yes, okay.
And it would help guide them through anything that they had. It would help them with all the different steps. And then they'd be able to like say, okay, well, who's the best photographer at this price? And we would already be searching the best ones. So we would say Wedlii is able to recommend it to them.
Yep.
Because if you go onto ChatGPT now, it's just anybody.
Yeah, for sure.
So that would save them, with everything that we've built, it would save them up to 60%. ChatGPT said like 80, 90%. I'm like, seriously? But I'm doing a test actually we've got 10 brides and we're just doing a test on how fast we can actually do it for them. And it's not about getting rid of the actual process. It's just about doing the stuff that's really stressful.
Yeah,
the same
for sure.
as we need help with all the emails and everything like that. It's the same for them.
Yep.
So what ways it can help them? You know, it's like a Pinterest at the beginning, so where you can save all your images and it's all in the one platform. There's like RSVPs, so you can send out to everybody.
Beautiful.
There is to-do lists. There is everything already laid out for them with all their different categories, like finding in all their forms, doing like scheduled day plans, messaging vendors and venues, all in the same platform. Like there's literally everything we've thought of. We went psycho. You know where I go psycho with things? And I get like every detail. And I've just gone like, we've just done as much as we can to make it really simple for them and not to overwhelm them as well.
Yeah. And your developers love you because you're like, can you add this?
Yeah. They love me and they hate me. You know, they were like, but you just said no. I'm like, yeah, we've changed. We're doing it this way. And everything is always changing. It's been 2 years.
Yeah,
we've been building it for,
Okay.
Yeah, that's why they love me and hate me.
Yeah. And so like I would be the same thing as you where like when brides come to me, they're like, I've just booked my venue and you can feel them like they're already, they are overwhelmed. Like even by the time they get to me, they've probably looked at like, 10 other photographers and Instagram's just like, boom, take everyone. And everyone does look pretty much the same. And now try and pick through everyone's like different collections and everything like that. So what would the process be? Would brides be coming, have they kind of booked venues or are they kind of thinking, hey, I want to get married in Byron and they've just got a kind of vague idea?
What we're trying to do is get them at the very beginning. So they get engaged.
Beautiful.
And it's where do you start?
Yep.
And how we guide them is we guide them through, first of all, inspiration. So that's just, there's guidance of saying, let people know, do the RSVPs, that kind of way. And then inspiration, just get an idea for what you like.
Yep.
Get an idea for the colors, the mood, the vibes, and then let's go get your venue.
Yep.
So then they can have a look and it's really just an easier process for them. They can look at the ones that they like, easily book and just view them. And then once they've done that, it can be either from the preferred suppliers from the venue or it can be through Wedlii. They're kind of just mixed together on the system.
Yeah, okay.
And then they can have a look and we'll say, okay, look, this is who we recommend. This is our top 3. And we recommend them because we have wedding planners on our team that will go through and say, okay, look, this is what we think are going to be the best 3. Because it's also going on our name.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
we can't like just recommend them bad people.
Exactly.
So it's like good reviews. We like their work. We feel that they're really good to work with. And that will be through that way. And then it just goes through the planning stage after that. But everything's in the same system. So they'll have one that they could say, okay, once they've got this photographer that's booked, all their details are in their booked people. So they'll have everyone's emails, details, Instagram accounts. Like even at the end, my favorite one, because everyone always asks me, is, at the very end when they've done all the images, they can just press a button and it will send the images to all the vendors.
How good.
So they don't have to ask or look for everybody and that kind of thing as well. So it's just a really easy platform for them to use.
Yeah, because there are other programs that do that, but it is very clunky still as well. And it's when you, as a photographer, you get those emails like, hey, can you send me the gallery? I'm like, man, I thought I already did that, you know? Yeah. But to be able to just do that and like have all those details across there, even as a vendor point of view is such a help, let alone, it's kind of cool because you are hitting it from both directions. Like this is going to make brides and grooms' lives way easier, but then also the benefit on the back end for the vendors is like, why wouldn't they be recommending to their brides and grooms to use your service?
Which
is really cool.
That was the idea. And we really worked on that as well. So we actually have like a venue and a vendor's portal as well. So they've got their own portal. That way that they can message the bride and groom really easily.
Yep.
And they can even do voice notes, which I love, just saying, hey, how you going? And I think that's really personal, and that's bringing back into the human element.
Beautiful.
Because I want to bring that in as much as possible. Also, when the bride presses book, their entire portfolio of the bride and groom will come up, so an image of them. There's so many times you go and you're like, what do they even look like?
I know. We had a Zoom call 3 months ago, and like, I've started and doing it like a caveman, like, okay, I'm going to screenshot that and I'm going to put that into my CRM. And because like you walk in and she doesn't have a white robe on, and you're like, oh.
And the grooms are all looking the same. It's like the Matrix or something. You're like, oh, hey, Brendan. Okay, So a photo was really important. But you also have a link to everybody that they're using. You also will have a link to what their style is and what their look is and stuff. And then you'll have a really easy of what's coming up, what's already been done, and you'll just have it really organized, because it's something that I was like, okay, what do I really want?
Yeah.
To really help with the whole process and just to make it super simple.
Yeah, because every vendor is only trying to do their best job, but there are so many different events to work across as well. You'd get the email like, hey, my makeup artist wants to know when you're getting here. But like, if you could just kind of communicate that way and not even have to worry the bride and groom, it's just like taking things off of their plate. And it's also a message that you would get from, a makeup artist that you'd take you a second. You'd be like, cool, I'll be here this time. Perfect.
Yeah, and you get all their details. You don't have to search for it. You know who the team is and stuff. And if somebody calls in sick or something, you can just easily reach out to somebody else as well.
Yep.
And there's also a different section which is for the vendors and venues as well, which is like a networking one.
Yep.
Where you can put up events, things that are happening, things that are going to grow the business as well. So Beautiful. I'm trying to, again, bringing more human elements to what's actually missing in our area of the wedding industry.
Yeah.
We sometimes get lonely.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Yeah.
And it's like, because we are all self-employed, and it's like, okay, can we do a style shoot together?
Yep.
Or can we, is there different events that we can go and network, different workshops and stuff like you were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
And it's just saying, this is what's going on. There's different, wedding events that are happening that you might want to be a part of, and just different things as well.
Yeah. I really like the element of knowing the other vendors ahead of time. Like we can find that out, especially if there is another planner involved or something like that. But to be able to you kind of have more ownership over it when you see the team members beforehand and know who's going to be there. And you kind of rock up on the day, and it is a real team feel, like, oh, cool, I already know who the celebrant's going to be, the florist's going to be. And I'm probably going to go above and beyond to get a really nice headshot of the celebrant, and then the flowers, we're going to get like really nice stuff because we've probably talked beforehand and know it, rather than just kind of rocking up in the day and be like, oh, hey, I didn't know you were going to be here. And, it's definitely going to add a lot, like you said, the human element to that again. Yeah. Which is nice.
Yeah, and then you can just send it to them as well through the platform too.
Yeah,
you can say, oh, thanks for that. That was amazing. And it's really easy to be able to thank the team.
Yeah.
As well, which I think is going to be really important. And you can always say, like, we're trying to look at the moment, like a referral system as well. So if you referred a bride saying, here, bride, check this out, that's actually work for your team as well. And they can know, saying, oh, yeah, that was great. Toga just said thanks and stuff. He sent in a bride for us and got us a job. So then they can say, hey, thanks so much for actually giving us that lead.
Yeah.
So having it more like just a base and a platform for vendors to be able to work on it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have seen in like of the past where obviously there's like elopement companies and they'll have like a photographer, a celebrant, a florist, and they kind of all team up together. But I'm even seeing that on bigger weddings now where there are, some vendors kind of teaming up to become a team where you book all of us and you'll get us.
Yeah.
But I feel like that even just comes like super easy within the platform.
Yeah.
Like that's not something they have to formally organize or anything like that. It's just going to be whoever the team is on the day, that's going to be it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is nice.
And we want to try and make it that it's not this a big exclusive thing as well.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like we have the platform, but the bride or groom can definitely get other people from outside as well and add them to it as well for a new group and stuff, because we just didn't want it to be like too like mafia kind of type.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so that one, it works.
All right. And so this like obviously isn't a directory, and I think directories are definitely going to have a hard time in the next few years. Like you can kind of already see the writing on the wall as far as that goes. But one of the big things is I pay my money to go on a directory, and then there's going to be 20 other photographers there. And I just hope that maybe I book one wedding because of the money I'm putting up. Like how many types of vendors are you planning on having for each section?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, because I've been on those as well. Especially moving up to here to Byron Bay. I'm like, okay, nobody knows me.
Yeah.
And you go on there and you're like, oh, they're going to get me lots of weddings. They're going to do this. Great. Okay, yeah, take it. I'll sign the contract. Damn it. But I feel that, so one thing that we wanted to get away from, it's not a directory where we just get everybody on there. We have the way that we're looking at it is we're only going to choose 3
Yeah. Okay.
for each area. I know it sounds super small,
Yep.
but we feel that we just don't want to overload them.
Yep.
And if they want more, if those 3 don't work, we'll have other ones underneath. But we just
Yep.
want to have the people that we feel that will really serve the brides
Yeah,
and
okay.
the grooms into something that we really put our faith into. And we, as I said before, it's not about overwhelming them. You can't pay to get to the top,
Yeah. Yep.
unfortunately. So it's more about if you're always getting good reviews, the couples rave about you afterwards, and they really feel that it's the right fit, then that's how you get onto the platform.
Yeah. Okay. That, which is interesting because like you could see like this, like, I feel like this is going to fill up really quickly with the vendors. Like it's because it feels like a complete no brainer, but you could see you could get 20 people for each thing. But then I know like then it does water down your brand as well.
Yeah.
And like you said, like even going through 3 photographers, 3 videographers, 3 celebrants, there still is a lot of work on the back end for you to be like, oh no, I'm comfortable with my brand name to be able to recommend these guys. So, and then like obviously like Byron, Gold Coast, Brisbane, but I guess there are so many little areas like that
so many.
all over Australia as well.
There's so many I really didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when you put this together, what makes this a success for you?
In what way?
So Wedlii, you've grown it. We're a year in. What makes you think like, yes, we've done a really good job here?
Genuinely,
Yep.
if I have couples coming to me and saying, oh my God, that has helped me so much. Honestly, like a big thing of this, and you know, I don't know if people will jump onto it or not, but it's not just a directory, we're actually getting really into wellness.
Yep.
So we actually have nutritionists on board.
Cool.
Yeah, and we have people that are helping with yoga and different things to actually help the bride with stress. It's not just about, hey, we'll make your life easier. It's actually about really helping them throughout the day. As I said, I was super sick, and people say it's the most stressful time of their lives, like 50-60%. And for me, I'm like, I went through this massive thing of saying, okay, how am I changing people's lives?
Yeah.
And I feel that I will change their lives.
Yep.
And I do want to, and I do find that a lot of the other, not all the directories or all the other big companies, is they are getting as much people as they can because they're just benefiting themselves.
It's just a business.
It's a business.
Yep.
So I really want to still keep that human bit of me and really do help brides, because if I feel if we really help them and if we really do what we can, then that's going to come back tenfold.
Exactly.
You know, in that way. So I'm focusing on the couples and obviously helping all the venues and the vendors as well. But like, that's my main field.
Yeah. And like, there's a benefit for the venues too, where they, you know, you're cross-checking who the vendors are going to be. So the venues are going to know, okay, cool, we've got good vendors on board and they know they're going to do the venue justice as well. And so like, I know that's a big thing, especially like in Byron here, where they are really tight with who they let in the community here because they want people to do a good job, because it does, like, if one person lets the team down, it's the whole team. It's the whole area that sucks. So, yeah, I like that you can kind of focus on that. And also, it does become exponential. Like, this works in Australia. Who knows where this goes as well? You know, like it's not just, you're not just like kind of this one area and that's all, and we're kind of got a stronghold on this area. Because if brides in Australia, they're like, this has been, you know, life-changing, why would people overseas not start, you know, doing this as well?
Have.
Yeah, there you go.
I was saying it before. Oh, well, they haven't already. As I said to you, mentioned it before.
Yep.
Yeah, so they took, Wedlii and everything, the name and the website, and have just gone crazy and put it everywhere. But it doesn't scare me at all because they don't have the humane side behind them. They're not wedding people.
Yep.
They're just people trying to do a business, but they've got nothing else behind it. So it's not going to take off.
Yep.
So, yeah, the idea is to start with Australia, see how that works, get all our nuts and crosses, and then we're just going to go to different areas around the world with it as well. And
anyone who knows you, like, they can tell the human element.
Yeah.
Like, we've been part of community groups and everything in the past, and it's like you can tell how high on your list community and that human connection is. It's not going to feel like, it's not going to be sleazy because it's not just like a money grab. It's like, no, because like you'll get to a wedding and at the end of it, you're like, how was your day? And they're like, we can't wait to go on our honeymoon. Like, can't wait for the wedding to be over. And that happens a fair bit. And you're like, that sucks.
And the amount that they spend on it is insane. And this is so much pressure on them to say it's the best day of their lives, you know, and there's just too much on there. And look, we're not going to say we're going to cure all of it. It's going to be amazing and stuff. Because you know what, like, I don't feel it's not the same as a wedding planner. A wedding planner to me is going to be the best option.
Yep.
You know, and this is a part, like I've been working with wedding planners as well, and we want to make it clear that it's not saying, okay, we're going to take over wedding planners.
Yep.
It's like, how can we actually make their job easier?
For sure.
How can we, like we're even talking about it, saying if it sounds really complicated for the bride or if she's getting really overwhelmed, it's like, look, these are the wedding planners that we actually recommend to you.
For sure.
And saying that these will help you more because they're human.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, there's only so much AI can do.
Yep.
But it's kind of, it will just like help them as much as they can, but it's not going to help them as much as a wedding planner or anything like that. And like, as you were, even when you were mentioning before with the different vendors and stuff, if we get bad ones on there, they are not going to be on the platform.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we're going to be pretty strict with that as well. So it's just people with good hearts, open hearts that are genuinely there to help.
Yeah. Which there are a lot of people in the industry that they kind of wouldn't be in the industry if they weren't. You know, there are some people that kind of feed through that are just in it for the money, but like you're in the wrong industry if that's that's what you're after. It's a hard industry to be in for just the money side of things. It is about that human connection and doing that. Do you have any challenges for like brides? So brides, I mean, I know they've already been, you know, jumping onto your service already.
Yeah.
Do you have any challenges or anything like that? Like to see, you know, how fast they can plan a wedding, or like, we're going to try and lower stress levels from 100 down to 40%. Is there anything like that?
No, not really. So what we've done is we just did a couple of ads for the wait list. And it's been great. Like we're just getting them jumping on board. This is really good. But I'm actually going to be there with them. Yeah. So I'm going to do video to videos. So that way I can really find out what's working, what's not working. And we're doing a challenge, which is, can we actually do it in this time? Yeah. You know, I don't know what I'm putting myself in for, but it'll be really, really eye-opening and stuff because it's such a need for it. And people are screaming out for it. Couples are screaming out for it. So, we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. Yeah.
Do you still need, like, is that kind of closed now, the brides, like, because obviously that's going to take you a lot of time doing one-on-ones with these brides to kind of work through the system.
It's going to be groups.
Yeah, okay, perfect, awesome. Do you still need other brides on board for that as well at the moment?
Yeah, we're always going to do it.
Yeah, okay.
So, you know, it might be even something that we just keep open. We don't know where we can actually help them through videos or tutorials or something that we can just say, okay, when they come to us straight away and just literally guide them and saying, well, this is how you can plan their wedding. Yeah. And it also helps us because we're constantly growing that way and helping them as well. And it doesn't take too much from us because it's not really one-on-one. It's like groups. It's like lives. Yeah, for sure. You know, that kind of way and stuff. So we can just help guide them through the platform. Yeah, which would be good.
Exactly. Because, I mean, you could do that as just a video on the website, but then also if you did it every Monday, whoever signed up over the last week, we're actually going to jump on a call and we're going to run you through that. Coming back to that connection piece, people are going to feel connected to you, to your brand. And like, there's just a level of trust that gets built in rather than a pre-recorded video, which you still could do, but you know, it's a different thing as well.
Yeah, you can just do both. Yeah. You know, some people like that. Some people can't go to the lives, that kind of way as well. Yeah. Yeah. You know, and then getting more like kind of wedding planners involved as well. Like they like that as well.
And when you first told me about this idea, you're going to get slammed by vendors knocking at your door and be like, let us in. It's going to like, how do you plan to deal with that process? Because like, there's going to be a lot, especially for me, only 3 vendors of each type in each area. I'm like, I've got to be that 3.
You're in that 3. I've got you there.
Thank you. But like, people are going to want to get on board with that. How are you going to deal? Like, do you have a team behind you to try and deal with that process?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we've just got some wedding planners on there as well already, and myself as well to help because I'm really, really critical, obviously, because it's my brand of who's going to be coming on board. Yeah. But it just helps me not having to do all the emails out and forth and stuff, so they'll be able to also help with that. Okay. And we're just going to take our time. Yep. So it's not going to be because at the beginning it was like, okay, let's get everybody on there because we have to have them on there before the brides. Yep. But what we're also doing is we have our own, which is like the easiest way to say it is like our little own ChatGPT on there, which is where the bride is going to constantly go to. So at the moment she's going to be able to recommend, but what we're going to be able to say, because that's what ChatGPT is, but just say these are not Wedlii
like approved. Or something like that.
They're
Yep.
not Wedlii approved until we get the people that we really approve. We don't want to just quickly shove anybody on there. So there is a process to it.
Yeah.
But what they'll be able to then do is say, this is Wedlii approved, and we'll take them to their profile, which is going to be on ours, and give them as much information as possible. But yeah, we're trying to make sure that we still keep that connection between them and the other vendor as well.
Mm-hmm. All right. And then do you have a launch date in mind at all that you'd like to mention?
Yeah, it's the it's on the yeah, launch day was a year ago. The aim is, and I think we will make it, is just after Christmas.
Yep,
because that's when everyone gets engaged.
Yeah, okay, cool.
And just after New Year's as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to go crazy, and I think the main thing is going to be through ads.
Yeah, for sure.
Because everybody wants to. They just got engaged. It's like, okay, well, where do I start?
For sure. Yes, definitely.
Is where you start. So if we don't get everybody on there, we're okay with that because of the new system that we have with ChatGPT now, or Wedlii Chat AI. But yeah, that will be good there.
Okay, and then so can vendors approach you currently to try and get on that list?
Yeah.
They can? Okay, cool. Do you want to mention, you've only really glanced like over the name. Let's talk about the branding, name and everything behind that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's Wedlii.
Yep.
So that's with 2 I's.
Yep, beautiful.
So WEDLII. And you can't actually do it through the platform. You can only really do it through us.
Yep, okay.
And so that would be at hello.
Are you sure you want to do this? You sure you want to give out your email address to
It's
all
not
these
mine.
vendors?
It's just to everybody's. You know?
There's going to be a lot of emails.
Yeah, I know, there already is. But so we haven't said it to anybody really because we want to be able to pick them. But then I didn't realize how many there is out there. I'm like, Australia's not that big.
Yep.
It's like the size of Europe.
Yeah.
So we're just doing main areas is going to be around the Brisbane side, then obviously Byron Bay, and we're going down the coast, and then we're going to Sydney, and then we're going down to Melbourne.
Beautiful.
So that's all we're attacking now. But if there's anybody that feels that they would suit Wedlii, that would be awesome because it would save us from having to look at everybody else. But as I said before, it is going to be very tight, so don't get offended. That's why. But it's going to be on hello@wedlii.com.au.
Okay.
I've just made that up now.
But that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, but that's what it's going to be because, I'm just like, there is a lot that we're trying to get through.
Yeah, okay. In the next...
It might make it easier process.
Yeah, in the next month. And then you there are so many little areas as well, and someone could be like, hey, I'm from the South Coast. Have you got anyone from here? And then all of a sudden that opens up a whole area as well.
Yeah, we're not going inland.
Yep.
And we're just keeping it all around this way for now because we've already got all the venues and all the different bits and pieces that we want to work with.
Yep.
So we're just going to start there. There's different phases to it.
Yep.
And like some of the awesome, cool new things that are going to come in are just like, you know. But yeah, there's different phases, and that's just the phase that we're doing now.
Can we actually, I haven't really talked about the venues. Is there going to be a limit on venues in each area as well?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Only not really a limit.
Yep.
It's more like ones that we feel that have bad reviews, aren't really good. We don't want to say, hey, try out this one. But we do need different types of venues because people have different styles.
Yeah, for sure.
You do find so it really depends. I can say 3 of, with the vendors and stuff, because it might be in a different bracket of to do with money, to do with budget, to do with style. But especially with venues, they might say they like the Moroccan one and there might only be, a few of them there or something. Or they might like the modern one, but there'll be more of them, but there'll be different price per person, different things like that will narrow it down.
I'm just throwing this out there now. You come to Moroccan, say I'm in Sydney and I want a Moroccan styled venue. Will there be a filter where I can kind of look over all Wedlii venues and go to a Moroccan one?
Yeah.
Yep, we can add that to developers.
Yeah, add that to the list. Add that to the list, but they can do that anyway because they can do all instead of a location.
Okay, cool.
So, but most people will have a location.
For sure.
But, if they don't and they're just like, that's just what I want.
Yep.
Then we'll say, anywhere in Australia.
Amazing.
I know, it's exciting.
Awesome. All right, so brand name again, Wedlii, WEDLII.
Yes.
Awesome. Where can people, where vendors at the moment can email you?
We haven't launched yet.
Yes,
so don't be checking out the website and stuff just yet.
Yep. Well, this episode will come out in 2 weeks. So it'll be about the 20th around there of December. So it'll be just before Christmas.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll be launching a couple weeks after that.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So I'd feel like maybe we do a shout out to the vendors prior to the vendors we like to try and get them on board.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm super excited about this.
Yeah,
when
me
you
too.
bought this idea, It's a complete no-brainer. It's people that want a wedding planner and are going to spend $200,000. They're going to go to a wedding planner and they're going to get really curated for exactly who they are.
Yeah.
But there's so many people below that price bracket, as I would have been when we got married, is I can't afford that, you know?
Yeah.
So it kind of gives accessibility to everyone else below that price, which is amazing.
Yeah, and that's the idea of it as well.
Yeah.
You know, but again, it's like it's also helping with the vendors in what's coming in the world. So it's like a big thing that we wanted to help with, because I've been talking to a lot of people that don't really understand the AI area, and they're actually scared of it.
Yep.
Or some people that the minute you say AI, they're like, oh, what is this?
Just like glaze over.
Yeah, glaze over. I've had some people on the comments and saying like, you know, what are you doing with AI? There's a place for it and there's not a place for it. And I'm like, oh, I love these people.
Yep.
I go straight into them and I message them straight away, and I end up at the end, we're like best friends.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, but there is a place, but it's kind of like really helping where the industries are going, because I think that's a part of fear when they don't want to know about it or deal with it, because it is what's going to be happening in the world. You know, SEO, I've spent so long on SEO and now it's just going to be irrelevant.
Yeah, for sure.
And also, I also believe that it's whoever's controlling AI, maybe the more fearful ones, but when you know that like Wedlii and stuff is made by vendors and it's there to help you, and it's there to help the brides as well.
Exactly. It's not just a pay to play. We're going to it's going to be the same system, but we're going to take 20 from each team because we can just make all this money.
Yeah.
But then there's no trust in that brand. Like essentially your whole brand is leveraged off of brides and groom trusting you and your platform. And you can't give that up. Like that's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So what's your theory on AI?
What's my theory is, I mean, I'm super excited about it, even though I definitely do glaze over every now and then about the whole expanse of it.
Yeah.
I definitely believe in, they're saying, you know, there's going to be more millionaires created than ever before.
Yeah.
But it's going to be kind of 1 and 2 person teams that have the ability to be able to control kind of AI for systems, and also, you know, still freelancers. But for me, we've got a big team over in the Philippines, and it's already getting to the point, it's like in 1 or 2 years, I'm worried about our team in the Philippines because the jobs they're currently doing are going to be made redundant essentially. And so like I'm already starting to talk to them and like, where else can we shift you that AI can't take your jobs? Because like what we pay them what would be a whole family wage we pay to each staff. So we know they're supported and they've, you know, because most of the times it'll be the male or the female, but they're pretty much supporting their whole family and also their relatives too. And it's scary for me. That's the only part that really scares me, is these still kind of third world countries that are just coming out and are just getting these jobs are going to disappear real quick. So that's kind of where a lot of my focus is at the moment, is how can I create little teams and hire managers that can really control AI and systems and everything built into it. Like really excited.
No, but that is true. Like it is going to, they were saying like in 5 years time, it's just going to be, I don't think anybody can comprehend what is actually going to happen.
Yep.
And how it is taking a lot of lives. It's dying. It's killing everybody. We're all going to die. You know, they're actually saying that too, but that's not for a while away. But yeah, so they are taking like a lot of people's jobs, but they're actually going to be freeing them up from the computers.
Yes.
And so they're saying that people won't know what to do with their time. So you've got lots of like people who are really invested in this are starting to invest in different like football teams and all this, because they're saying that the human race won't know what to do with their time.
Yep.
AI is going to do it all that's on the computer.
Yep.
So it is the same with these guys, let's just say the Philippines,
yep,
or wherever it is, but it's like maybe it's saying how can they make it help them?
Yes.
How can they start to do it instead of them always working for others and doing it that way? It might be another way for them to start thinking of different ways that they can do it for themselves.
Yeah.
And they can start generating their own population.
Yes.
And different jobs that can happen in the Philippines maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it's just a whole different way of thinking. And it's just gone are the days where you need 1,000 people teams. That's kind of gone. It's going to be, I feel like, specialists like yourself in AI that really know how to leverage everything. They're going to be so highly valued because all the other like smaller jobs below are just going to disappear. And it's like almost like the money from these lower jobs are going to funnel to the person who can kind of wield it in the middle as well.
But the thing is that that's not the case.
Yeah.
So it's actually anybody can do it. Like I'm a mum
Yeah.
of 3.
Yep.
So I couldn't have done what I'm doing without AI.
Yep. For sure.
So it's like all these other people that are in whatever brackets, their possibilities are endless. Everybody right now, possibilities are endless if you understand and jump onto AI. And anything you don't know, you just ask AI. Like I counted, I'm a part of 28 programs. 28 programs. And I literally don't understand half of them. This is like computer development, all these kind of things. And I'm constantly saying, okay, what does this mean? What the hell is this? What does this mean? You know, so I just think the power of it now is invaluable if you can jump on, but so many people are still choosing not to jump on. I don't know if that's fear or what that is, but it is that they say that it's that feeling of getting left behind, you know, if they don't jump on.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's a hard balance because they don't want to be a part of that new thing, but they don't want to,
Don't want to miss out either.
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
people just need to get on board, as bad as that sounds. Like you don't really have a choice at the moment. It's
the future. It's like, it's inevitable. That's what's happening. It's already what's happening anyway. But it's like, if it's just to help you grow and give you more time to do the things you love.
Yep.
You know, that's the way I see it. It's really good teachings. I use it for like so much so I can spend more time with my family.
Exactly.
Learn more about my kids. Learn more about things and to give the normal person access to everything. Like we now have access to everything, you know, things that we can't afford to do, like, and stuff we can ask AI and that can help us with everything. But look, I do, if someone said to me, just thinking now, like if someone said to me, do you have AI or not? Do you have a button to just press and to stop it? I'd probably stop it.
Okay.
You know, I still think that it's gonna, you know, could take over, and that's where it's going because there's no safety on it. And there's no safety net on it. And it is everybody, it's the people that are behind AI that's the ones that scares me. Sorry, I'm probably going so deep.
No, I love it.
Let's go. No, but it's just like thinking it's the people behind that's AI that's the scary thing. And, you know, so I think it's really important to everybody having all these little things like I'm doing and stuff that's like behind AI is actually real. And it's like, it's all healthy and natural and stuff. Is it healthy and natural? But you know what I mean. Going that way and stuff.
When good people can wield it in the right ways, they can kind of, you can actually, push it in the right direction. And like you said, it just makes things more accessible. And just, it does really can help a lot of lives. Like you said, having time for your family, having a successful business, but not needing to be on Photoshop for like 60 hours editing. Like that's gone now. Back in the day when we started, that was, you do a wedding and a photo wedding would take you a full week. And it's just,
it was like,
exactly.
Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
And how much time, like how unhealthy it is to be you know, in front of a computer screen, you know, and our mental health and everything. And you look at like the mental health anyway, and it's like beforehand, it's people in offices all the time. Like I see it as a benefit. If we can get rid of people in the offices, they'll say, okay, what do I do? That's my job. We'll find real things to do.
Exactly.
You know, and to get back out into the world and the nature and stuff. And that's what they're predicting as well. Like some of the stuff that they're saying that is coming in, like we'll have holograms soon. They've already have them. But it's when they're ever going to be able to come out where you can have that kind of better than a phone call maybe. But again, it is getting rid of like the human way and stuff. But like they have the AGI, I think that's coming, which is a real worry, which is going to be where it can start thinking for itself and stuff as well. But then again, the possibilities, they're changing in healthcare, they're changing in everything, too rapid for everybody now. But if you don't get onto it or understand it now, we're going to be those people that don't understand the computers now.
Exactly.
You know,
how do I do it? An email? How do I do it?
What is this?
I feel like that already. Like, But
my daughter knows how to use it better than I do.
Exactly.
I'm like, can you fix this, please? But that's the anyway. But I think hopefully the future will be beneficial for us, and this is what we're trying to create is something that's kind of a mixture of the crazy AI and humanity. So hopefully it will work.
Love it, Emma. Thank you so much for coming
No
on.
worries.
I'm so excited for you. I think like the future is just so exponential for you at the moment. Like I'm really excited just to see where this goes. And especially like with someone at the head of it, like you said, you're so, you know, heart driven. So thank you very much.
Amazing.
One last time, website, all that kind of stuff, where people can find you.
So it's just email me at hello@wedlii.com.au.
Just made that up. Perfect.
Just made that up.
Awesome.
I actually do have the email, but I think, I wasn't planning to get people to email me, but I think it's a good way to do it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thanks.
Thanks for tuning in to the WedCo podcast. If you love this episode, don't forget to subscribe, follow, and share it with your friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so leave a review or connect with us on social media. New episodes drop every week, so be sure to join us next time for more wedding inspiration, tips, and stories. Until then, happy planning, and we'll see you soon.